Shit goes downhill. You would think guys would fucking pick up their game. And
they're not going to have a $39 million cap hit for a guy who's not there. Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago, and you know what that is. That's the intro from my guy, the draft doctor himself.
I love it.
Phil, what's up, Papa? How are you?
What's up, brother? From another. How's Mom Dukes doing in the walk?
She's doing good, man. It's a daily fight. She didn't want to walk yesterday. She's like, oh, well, a little while. And I know when she starts to, well, I'm like, oh, geez, it's going to be a fight. So we didn't walk yesterday. Trying to get her to walk today. We'll see. It's a daily fight.
It's snowing here, Shawn. I mean,
what?
Yeah, it snowed here. Well, now it's raining, but it snowed. So yeah, typical New England weather going on. And
we're getting some snow next week. Possible. It's not going to be much. It'll be flurries, but I'm like, dude, we just had 70, 80 degrees days last week, and now we're talking snow next week.
Yeah, exactly. 70. I think it was 68 yesterday. Then it's snowing today. That's the life. I'm glad that my man is getting his COVID vaccine. I got my 2 shots, so I'm ready to go to Chicago.
There you go.
When the season opens, I'm sure we'll all be getting together. That should be fun.
That would be so freaking wild, dude. Wild. Yeah, let me tell you. Well, you know what? We'll keep it here, man. We'll talk.
Yeah.
We'll continue the conversation. We were talking quarterbacks. And, we were talking, because I know you're a big fan of Mac Jones. And Kenneth was just saying how he doesn't think Mac Jones will do good here because of what we have coaching. And, you look at what we did to Trubisky, and don't get me wrong, Trubisky has to take some of that on his own. Okay. He's got to bear some of the brunt of that, but I don't think he didn't have the incubation period like a Patrick Mahomes did, like a Aaron Rodgers did, like some of the other quarterbacks have had. And I just don't know if I don't know what we would do to a quarterback like that. I'm looking at Justin Fields, a guy who's athletic, can get out of the pocket and run, because he might just have to do that, because I don't feel Matt Nagy will run the ball as much as he should, which will make it so much easier for a quarterback, as we both know. Because if I knew and I had a guarantee that he would run the ball, then yeah, give me a Mac Jones, give me anybody else that you think is a great quarterback, okay, who will be able to throw and sling it from the pocket. Because when you run the ball, we know the old saying, you got to earn the right to rush the passer. Defensive linemen aren't going to be, teeing off and going hell bent for election, because they got to worry about the run game. And that's the reason I'm concerned about any quarterback we bring back now that Matt Nagy has officially said that he's calling plays this year.
There's a lot of context in this, what you're discussing. I know I'm going to be on Kenneth's show, I believe Monday, to debate him on this. And I'll just say this. Truthfully,
that's what he was talking about. Okay. That's what he meant. Yeah, he said that Monday. Okay.
So, listen, you just said it. Mitch Trubisky has to take a lot of ownership in regards to fundamentals and technical flaws that he had physically, but mentally, where the game is in processing and all of the intricacies that go on pre and post snap at that position, was Mitchell Trubisky's death stroke, if you will. In regards to these draft guys, I've watched so much film on these guys in the last 5 weeks now, in regards to all of them, all the way down to my guy Zach Thomas from Appalachian State. Watching the all 22 tape, breaking it down on our patron side, I can tell you and anybody, I'll go to war on this. Mac Jones is an elite pre-snap quarterback. He understands what is going on, how it's going on. That right there is a check in the box. It's a big one. And for a rookie quarterback to come in, to be able to isolate and understand terminology, but pre-snap coverages and what people are trying to do to you, I just think gets lost in translation with ESPN, fantasy football, and all these freaking highlights that everybody wants to see. The reality is when you pop in the tape, Mac Jones is dime, 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 and right decision, leverage concepts, anticipation throws. It's over and over, footwork, incredible mechanics. So these types of things can't get overlooked, and you can't go into this bullshit ass, and I'm going to get fucking fired up with it.
Nice.
This bullshit ass. Alabama has all the... Deshaun Watson had freaking how many first-round receivers to play with? You look at the player and the reality of what they do each and every snap to identify their talent. I don't give a shit who's playing with them. Where does he go with the football? Where is the ball? How is it delivered? I'm talking fundamentally, Mac Jones, he would honestly be the number one ranked quarterback if Lawrence wasn't as similar in regards to pre-snap, post-snap, and I think Lawrence can move and manipulate in what you were saying, get out of the pocket a little better. But don't sit there and be
so Phil, why do you think he's not the number one quarterback? Then why is it Trevor Lawrence?
I hear a lot of people. Well, I was just saying, I think Lawrence does a lot of the similar things these two do, but I think he's a better movement athlete, and that's where that goes. This kid has been highly regarded in regards to Lawrence since he was in freaking middle school, and he's carried that torch and that pressure, and I think that checks a lot of boxes as well. The big news with him coming out, I could just turn away from football. You know, that shit comes out like Laramie Tunsil's with the smoke and the weed and all of that, and they try to push these guys down, and people want to do that kind of shit. But the reality is, it is what the end all be all is what is on the tape. And I have them ranked like this: 1A, 1B, Lawrence, Mac Jones. That's the truth. Then I got my guy Trey Lance from North Dakota State, number 3. Number 4 is Justin Fields. Number 5 is Davis Mills from Stanford. You want to talk about a flawless, unbelievable prospect? If his knee wasn't injured, this kid would be talked about in the top as well. And then the kid Wilson that everybody's penciled in or penned in for the Jets. I don't feel comfortable at all with him, and I know we're in unison in regards to our network, and we were doing this on our own to try to see where we all were, and everybody came away with Mac Jones in regards to that. Again, we stand by the tape. I debate this guy right here on the lower screen right there all the time in our network. I'll debate where I rank guys, how I see guys, but this I could tell you for sure. Anybody that is actually doing tape, there is no freaking question. Mac Jones, these balls don't just get there by accident. Okay. How many of Alabama's quarterbacks have gone on to the NFL and played really well with the best, talent in the world? That bias is going to come on people. That's not how you scout. You don't look at the school. You don't look at the history. You look at the player. And that's a problem here. And bias goes both ways. I am a freaking huge defender of the manipulation of truths when it comes to the black quarterback. But it also goes the other way, too. Oh, he's a statuesque. He's sneaky athletic, all of that shit. Throw that shit out. What does he do in the pocket? He delivers over and over. He will be the penicillin to Matt Nagy. Now, I don't think we're going to get him. There's a reason why I say Kyle Shanahan penned that in at 3, because he understands pre-snap. This guy's similar to Matt Ryan, but I think he's more accurate. He's a more tougher player, if you can understand what I'm saying. Like, he's got a dog in it. He's an alpha. He takes control. Everyone was biased on him. This is a 3rd-round pick. He goes to the Senior Bowl, absolutely controls the whole place. I had Matt Waldman come on and tell me, my God, people were like, holy cow, about Mac Jones. Now they're trying to destroy this kid when he was 12 years old wearing an Obama mask or whatever. He's 12 years old kid. His father fucking probably didn't like Obama. Who gives? We're not going to destroy people based on their childhood or their upbringing. Ignorance is everywhere. We can help ignorance. We can't tolerate racist shit. That shit I don't tolerate. I get fired. As you can see, I'm kind of tempering my anger right now. But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know. When you pop in the tape, Mac Jones is going to be a special quarterback in the NFL. And I put my name on these things. I actually have to take the abuse. Mel Kiper, Matt Miller, whatever the hell else, they can get on a dodge. But for some reason, us Bears guys, they're going to hold me accountable. So I'm going to triple check. And I think Kenneth Davis is completely wrong about Mac Jones. He ran a 4.68. Ran a 4.68.
I'd beat him.
I know you and I both beat him. But a 4.68 isn't something that ain't 5 flat.
No, it's not. It definitely isn't. We were talking. I just don't know. I don't trust Nagy. And I don't trust him with a younger quarterback. And I understand that this Mac Jones is a winner. I don't know how much he's going to be able to overcome Nagy. I just really don't. I think he's going to have to ride it out a year.
That's what Dalton's here for, man. Why? I mean, he's the bridge. And the reality is, you know how I feel about Matt Nagy. I was calling his ass out in the 6 touchdown Tampa game, saying this is ridiculous how you're using your personnel. He was clearly being an idiot, trying to get Mitch some sort of fucking record instead of reality of building your team. When you have a football coach who's never really picked his guy, we can say Nick Foles was, Matt Nagy's choice, and that failed and blundered, but really he's never picked a young passer. David Kaplan came on our show and was transparent with Matt Nagy's notes. You say what you want. He had it right. He said Mahomes all the way. So if he was the coach here, obviously John Fox was at the time. John wanted who I wanted, Deshaun Watson, but Nagy probably would have pushed for Mahomes. So we haven't seen Matt Nagy to be truthful. Like, I don't hate's a strong word, but it's there.
As a coach, don't hate him as a person, as a coach.
Right. As a coach, I cannot stand what he does philosophically and situationally. So basically, he's a failure. So I totally understand your fears. That being said, the player and the team, the franchise shouldn't be punished when I believe your idiot coach can't even take away from the talent on tape, pre, post, and checking all the boxes. He's an alpha. He's a leader. Show me on tape where you're telling me he can't do it. Don't give you this false bias. Those balls have to be delivered. And when they are, you're seeing them delivered in exactly where they should be. And that's what the NFL is. It's a delivering league. It's seconds. It's inches, as we say. We can't be cliche and then say, well, we want athletes. We want athletes. We want a guy that can break the pocket and run. Mitch did that. Mitch did that. So what did you get with Mitch? You got a glimpse. That's what we always get. I want a guy that's going to deliver every time. This kid, I can't speak highly enough. I was just cutting Alex Leatherwood's tapes for me and my father. Leatherwood. Is that his first name? I'm so bad with names. Leatherwood, the tackle from Alabama. I was cutting his tape. And I just can't even get away from watching Mac Jones. Oh, he's got a freaking guy coming in a window that's so small. And he hit him, Waddle, right in the money. Now, Waddle makes the catch, yes. Oh, Waddle's a great player. But look where the ball is. Look where the anticipation throw is. That stuff gets so overlooked. And Shawn, you and I love this. The deep ball. You know, Russell Wilson, Mac Jones's deep ball accuracy is off the chains. I don't need a PFF grade to tell me. I know my friend Adam Rank had told me, holy cow, your boy, Mac Jones, his QBR in college, I think is the all-time record. That's the truth.
Yeah, but you had to take that with a grain of salt. And granted, he may be talented, fundamentally sound, but when you're throwing a Bolitnikoff winners, Heisman Trophy winners, first rounders, and that's the whole wide receiver staff. He's had the first. I'm not saying that you can blame him, but I'm saying you have to look at it in perspective. You don't have to get it there in a situation where if you don't have the talent or you're playing against top talent, because now these wide receivers were much better than a lot of the defenses that they faced. They've had some. You know, I know you're in the SEC. But even at that point, at that particular point, I'm not saying. Here's what I'm saying.
That's what they're going to do.
Here's what I'm saying. The talent, you have to look at the talent around you. You know, I know you said you can't, but you do have to look at the talent around you. When everyone in that wide receiver room that he threw for a couple of years was an award winner.
So it was Tua, right? Tua did it, but he's okay. Let's take him at 8. But Mac Jones, no, because he can't move out of the pocket. Come on. It's ridiculous in my mind. The bias that goes
where's
on
Tua? You know, unfortunately, Tua got hurt.
I'm saying.
What do you think he's going to do?
Every one of those guys to a man, Ruggs all the way down. Who would you rather play with? Every one of them said Mac Jones. Every one of his team, Waddle, all of them were asked that question. That says a lot to me. And I'm telling you right now, you can't punish a player for the surrounding talent. If that's the case, so Watson played with a Bolitnikoff nominee or second place. Sammy Watkins, look at his cast of characters that he played with. Renfro is in the NFL. That guy was like 7-Eleven, 24/7. He's open. That guy, and over and over and over again, you can't punish these guys. I don't give a shit who's out there. The kid number 8 from Alabama, I forget his name. As I get older, these names, all of them. But the reality is he's hitting guys. Boom, boom, the tight end. Boom, the check down. He's making a decision. They come on a blitz. His back's turned. He knows what they're doing pre-snap, and he delivers. I mean, in that championship game, watch him against Ohio State. They come on the zone dog. They bring the guy down late. He already knew it. He comes down and makes an NFL decision right there for you, hits the wheel route without even it's unbelievable over and over. I'm trying to look for negatives. I'm trying, but these guys, the narratives have been there for years. They're going to do it. They're going to play this game because he's whatever. But I'll stand on that. I'll stand on that soapbox because I know I fight with the tape and there's no bias. I don't see Justin Fields as a poor decision maker. He can't read defenses and all that. I don't get into that bullshit. I think Justin Fields, again, is he's over Wilson, who they say they're going to go to. Well, Fields, for me, is a great athlete. If I'm the Chicago Bears and he's falling, I want to get that guy. I just believe Mac Jones is going to go number 3, and it's already off the table for us. And people, you'll see that night. I'll be covering it live. I'll be flipping out. if the Bears move up to number 4. And if they do move up to 4, Shawn, the only guy I want there is either Mac Jones or Trey Lance. Those are the two guys that I would go up and grab. Obviously, if Lawrence is there, he ain't going to be. He's going 1. That's fine. If Mac Jones or Trey Lance are there, as much as we know we need offensive tackle, quarterback trumps it all. It's been a 48 years of waiting for the guy. Again, this draft, as Shane would have said, is about Matt Nagy's selection of a young passer. He was right in regards to us finding out that information with Mahomes. Got to give the guy a shot here to see who his guy is. He's been at every pro day. At every pro day. He has not missed one of them, and that's your head coach. So let's see what's going on.
Ours, and not mine. It's ours because we're Bears fans till we die.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
right, wrong, or
indifferent. We have
indifferent.
to live with them. I mean, we're gonna break them down.
We don't have to like them.
We're gonna break them down. That's for sure.
So obviously the Jaguars are going first. They got Lance Lawrence. Then you got the Jets, the Niners, and the Falcons have been open up to trading that spot. So Jets and Niners. I think Mac Jones might be the perfect fit for the Niners just because of what his talents combined with that of a Shanahan.
Oh my God.
It can be magical the way Montana and Walsh were, the way
I wish he was our coach.
Mike McCarthy and Mike Holmgren and Favre, Sean Payton
John
and
Gruden, Payton.
Yeah, all those guys with their specific quarterbacks, but they had their guy. And a guy, I think that a lot of quarterbacks fit systems, and there's a lot of quarterbacks who can fit in a system, regardless of a system. But I think Mac Jones might be the guy who might be the perfect fit for the Niners. And if they do get him, that's going to be a little. San Francisco is going to be around for a long time. If he lives up to the hype, because there's still a lot of people who, they've been fundamentally sound. You look at Andrew Luck. I mean, I don't know, injuries played a part in his deal, but some quarterbacks just transfer from college to the NFL. It just doesn't happen. And they have all the talent in the world and they do everything right. And but that's yet to be seen. I think he'll be given the perfect opportunity if he does go to San Francisco, but
that was my fear. But again, I'm envious of them because of their head coach. And he understands the use of a fullback and a wingback and running the football and boots off of it. We have we got a different kind of guy. And that's a showcase of how highly I think, because I think Mac Jones fits what you're trying to do here. And those people that say, no, well, look at Nick Foles. They brought this guy in. Nick Foles couldn't be an athlete of Mac Jones. Like if we were playing an athletic basketball, I always used to say, throw a basketball out and see who could ball. That's how I could tell an athlete. That's how you tell. And I would be willing to bet everything that Mac Jones is a better athlete than Nick Foles. So that kind of theory and stuff like that, we're not running option game and, running down like these RPOs with pulls to try to make big plays. You saw it occasionally. In fact, you should have saw it more with Mitch Trubisky because that's what he did well. Granted, he got hurt twice running, if you remember, against the Vikings twice. And then against the Saints, he goes in for one play, gets hurt on an RPO pull. That's really the reality of it. So I think philosophically, in the offense that I know and that Matt Nagy runs, this kid, Mac Jones, is a perfect fit. But to your point, the rich will get richer. He'll be in San Francisco, and he'll be a superstar in regards to what it does, what he is going to be asked to do in that offense.
So Coach Dre's asking if QBs are moving round 1, who's in round 2? Well, I don't know. QBs are moving round 1. I mean, if I'm at 20, if they stay pat at 20, and then I don't think we're going to get a quarterback that we want. I think they'll all be gone at that particular point, because we know there's going to be in the first. I mean, who else needs a quarterback? I mean, Jacksonville, New York, the Jets, the Niners. Okay, the Falcons. What if it depends who's going to trade because we know that they're offering that number 4 spot. The Bengals. Do they have a quarterback?
Carolina
The Miami
traded for
Dolphins.
Darnold.
The Detroit Lions. No, they got West Coast boy.
Jared Goff.
Goff. Panthers. Yeah. The Broncos. Are they looking? The Cowboys. No. The Giants. I think they're happy with what's his name? The
Daniel Jones.
Jones. Yeah, Mac Jones. Daniel Jones. Okay. The Chargers, they're good with Gabbert,
Herbert.
Herbert. Yeah, well, Gabbert, Herbert. You
You and I with these names.
That's what happens when you play football for a long time, dude. Then you got the Minnesota Vikings. Like, who's their quarterback?
Kirk Cousins.
Oh yeah, he's not going anywhere because he's
$100 million man.
186 guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly.
Guaranteed.
Yeah,
then the Patriots at 15.
They can go quarterback. They could be moving up.
I was just about to say, see, that's why this is awesome. I was just about to say that they're going to probably trade up. Cardinals, I think they're good with Kyler Murray. The Raiders, if they had a chance to move up, I think they would. I know they're happy with Carr, but if you can get a younger guy, then the Dolphins, the Washington football team,
they might want a young quarterback because Fitzpatrick, Fitzmagic is older. So you're gonna have to move up if you're getting a quarterback. That's why we're going live, Shawn, that night through the whole draft, first round, and we're gonna be prepared because when Cars, the at Bears nerd, our resident nerd, and Shane, the smartest man, think that they're gonna move up, that's what Pace is gonna do. You guarantee it. They always beat me with these. They know Pace, I guess. So I'm nervous.
Let's go off his track record. He's jumped up for everybody.
He's jumping up for everybody. So we're just going to have to be prepared to see where their analysis goes. Is it based on Justin Fields? Is he the guy? Is Trey Lance the guy? Like I said earlier, I would move up. I'm completely truthful to get Mac Jones or Trey Lance. Trey Lance. We had Matt Waldman on. My father was talking about it. Great comp to Steve McNair. You talk about a guy that I feel comfortable with, deep ball accuracy, athleticism, toughness. He checks that alpha box. Granted, the smaller school and what have you, but the accuracy, the anticipation throws. Again, I'm cutting Redun's tape for tomorrow's show with my dad, the offensive tackle from North Dakota State. And you just can't help but watch Trey Lance do his thing out there. And again, that's why I have him as the third best quarterback in this draft. So
Phil, let me ask you a question then. So if the Bears, if most of the quarterbacks are gone by 10, okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you still see the Bears trading up and getting an offensive tackle?
I think because I love the tackles in this draft, man. I think, if it was me as the GM, again, I would have to move up for those two guys because I think they're going to be superstars in the NFL. You can clip this and save it forever. Mac Jones and Trey Lance. You can have Wilson all day. Zach Wilson, Luke Wilson, the actor. He plays like Luke Wilson.
Luke and Owen Wilson, one of them.
Yeah, he's crashing weddings. The reality is, I would stay the hell away from that kid. Berlissimo has said it. Shane, they all agree with me too. I'm with them. The kid that's a wild card is Davis Mills. This kid was a 4-star quarterback or 5-star. He was the number 1 rated quarterback coming out of high school.
Then he had to be a 5-star then.
Then he goes to Stanford, gets hurt, hurt his left knee. He wears a big brace on it, but I'm telling you, Shawn, oh my God, you watch his tape. We broke him down on Draft Mob with Berlissimo and Shane on Sunday on our Patreon channel. The freaking footwork and arm talent is flawless. Like, he is the best pure thrower. Not talking about deep ball, arm strength. I'm talking about his delivery is like Dan Marino. Over the top, by his shoulder, boom, boom, like throwing darts. Boom, boom. Mm-hmm. And he makes the right decisions. Again, playing with a bad line at Stanford. Their tackle got hurt, a whole 9. This kid showed a lot on a shortened season that you really like. He's someone that might sneak into the first round because quarterbacks, and I hate these blog boys that'll tell you, well, I wouldn't take him at 52, but I would take him at 80. No, quarterback trumps everything. So if you see and identify, you can't wait on that. You have to do it. So you got to get the guy when you see him. Don't worry about what some fucking draft nick from friggin' East Coast, West Coast, wherever is saying. You have to be true to the position. You, of all people, know that quarterback position is going to trump every other position. Now, in the offensive tackles, I would sit there and wait. Love this offensive tackle class. And I would be happy with a bunch of them if you want to talk about them. It's amazing. I just don't think the top 2 guys, Sewell and my guy from Northwestern, what's his name? Jesus Christ.
Oh.
Slater.
I was I was thinking Saved by the Bell, but I couldn't think of.
They're both gonna be gone. I would be shocked if I know Sewell's gonna be gone. He is a generational talent, much like I graded Laramie Tunsil. Sewell is that guy that you're gonna have for 12 years, barring injury, playing that left side. Boom. Right, Greg? That's a boom pick right there. There's no bust. There's boom with Sewell. Then Slater, to me, is the second guy. I love that kid. If he ever fell, I could see myself as a coach saying, you know what? You got to get Slater and let's lock this guy in. He's too athletic, too the right temperament. A lot of people will say, oh, he's 6'4". Let's not worry about arm length. I see tenacity and athleticism, great feet. So those are my top 2. Then my surprise there, and again, I'm working. I literally am telling you, I'm cutting the tape on these guys. Tevin Jenkins. If he's there at 20 and you stayed there to get a left tackle, he's Trent Williams. And that football player plays with the right temperament to change a whole culture in regards to what we have with puppy shit Leno.
Well, that's what we need because we haven't had it, since Kyle Long. Haven't had an offensive lineman with an attitude, a guy with an edge, with a guy who'll bury you in the ground, probably spit on you when you're and tell you it's coming again next play. Those are the type of people that I used to love to run behind. And I had a couple of those nasty sons of bitches, in high school, in college, and in professionally. When I was in Italy, I had this one dude. He couldn't speak English, obviously he's Italian, but and but you could tell by his demeanor. And then when the owner's son would translate for me, he basically say, he'll never said I made it. He would say I made him my bitch today. Yes. He goes, I'm making him my. That's the intent. That's the attitude that the guy played with. And then I played with a couple out in semi-pro and around, and you just see. And those are the guys I love. Those are the guys that we love, and I'd love to get some of those guys. I mean, look at it. Remember Eric Williams? Nate Newton, that whole Cowboy offensive line.
They go after it.
Larry Newton. Yeah, it was crazy. So if we can get a guy on this offensive line, because this offensive line needs, I think we have a good offensive line. I think we need to get it. We need to add a stud tackle.
Sean. This is the
with
guy,
attitude.
Sean.
That little sprinkle, that little sprinkle of attitude. That's what's going to take this offensive line to another
this guy
level.
Would fight Khalil Mack. Like, that's his attitude. The reality of them is that you can see a personality on tape that goes along with the energy of which he plays. Like, some people I know he played right tackle at Oklahoma State, but the reality is I've done this for so long. I've talked to about three college offensive line coaches. My father and I broke it down. My father likes Mayfield #1 from Michigan in regards to who he broke down. And then Jenkins, obviously you see Barlissimo's list. Of course, he's going to throw his up there. For me, Eichenberg is not the guy that I would take at 20 at all. He's more of a technician, but he does have, again, he has the personality and the technique. What you are saying we need is because you understand. I'm watching the film for freaking 6 years now, watching this left tackle go out there and kind of patty cake and never bring a level of attitude that we're going to be in a fight for the whole game. I'm going to go after you. Jenkins does that. I broke him down. If you're not a subscriber, www.thetapeneverlies.com. I broke him down. I think it was 15 minutes on Tevin Jenkins alone. My father and I this weekend, we're going to break down Redun's, Darasaw from Texas Tech, and who's the other one? Redun's from North Dakota State, Darasaw. Who's the other one? Jesus Christ. Oh, Leatherwood. There you go. From Alabama, Leatherwood. TheTapeNeverLies.com right there. We did break down Eichenberg.
Heisenberg. You got a crack dealer?
Eichenberg.
I thought you said Heisenberg.
He's from Notre Dame. Good football player.
Jewish boy at a Catholic university, huh?
Probably. Good guy. Good football player. I know Berlissimo loves him. He's not, for me, the guy I'm looking for to do what you're saying here. In fact, I gave you my 2. Jenkins would be next. Then I like Redun's. This kid Redun's from North Dakota State has a lot to like. Leatherwood, Eichenberg over Leatherwood. Darasaw has so much. Like, his ceiling would be the highest, maybe, next to Sewell, but he's got Charles Leno disposition. You see some energy, plays taken, and I'll point that out tomorrow when we go live, breaking this down live. Darasaw out of Virginia Tech. Talent beyond, but Shawn,
it's just right here.
The energy, yeah, the energy. Like, his
talent with Kyle Long's mentality would be at first a number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, exactly. He'd be a top 5 offensive tackle. He would be battling Sewell. But again, these offensive line coaches or GMs or coaches think they're going to unlock these guys. But listen, a zebra doesn't change its stripes. They have to look themselves in the mirror and decide how they're going to attack this. This is your job. This is your brand. So you got to go out there and play hard every single day. Darasaw, again, you'll see tomorrow. He's just somebody I feel as though you're going to end up having a similar situation where there's so much you want to like.
He doesn't know. You're going to need somebody to pull it out of him, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay.
Is Juan Castillo
going to
get it out of him? Or is he not? I don't want to do that. Jenkins is the remedy. You want that? Jenkins is going to go out there, play left tackle. He's bigger. He looks enormous, but he has a dancing bear disposition. His feet aren't elite, but they are certainly athletic. And he is a guy that's going to go down to the whistle and do what you said. He's going to freaking drill you to the ground, push you, get you the penalty, maybe get a penalty or 2. But
I'm okay with that.
He's going to change the whole disposition of the line. Again, if I say he's the only guy in this draft that will square off on Khalil Mack. I guarantee you.
Well, listen, let's talk about another situation. Cordell Patterson, okay, signs with the Atlanta Falcons. He was a weapon for the Bears, not in the backfield, but he was definitely a weapon. He was a Pro Bowl kick returner. How do you think that's going to affect this whole situation? For me, I loved him. I really did. He said it was only a $3 million deal. Why do you think the Bears didn't sign him to a $3 million deal to stay? And that was one of the weapons that you had. Okay, you're getting Tariq Cohen back, which means you're probably going to have him returning punts again. So you had a Pro Bowl punt returner in Tariq Cohen. You would have had a Pro Bowl kick returner in Cordell Patterson. Why do you think they didn't sign him? And is it going to affect the Bears and their special teams? Or how much is it going to affect their special teams?
Well, that's what he was. He's a kick returner. Granted, weren't probably the best or arguably, but you see kick returns, you know, I'm of the just move on from him only because of what Nagy does with him and tries to use him in the backfield, take away from your identity in number 32 and go away from what it is that back needs is more carries and a rhythm. We saw it way too often. You're talking about critical short yardage situations where you're using Cordero Patterson and not
That's
your
not on
identity.
him. That's not on him. He's
I
not
get
a, you know,
I get it.
that's our boy stupid.
Yeah,
I'm not an idiot.
I get it. But I saw a couple write-ups, guys I respect, and I totally disagree with them. This isn't okay. He's a special teams player. I can get a young guy to kick return and get us to the 25-yard line. He broke one kick return. How many kick returns did he have last year? One? We ended up losing. We lost that game as well. It's the reality of what this is in this league. They're protecting people. The dynamic is more. He didn't return punts. Now, he was a good cover guy. So that is a position that you got to give him a lot of credit for. But again, I could find those young guys in the draft that are hungry, that have the right disposition. I totally am not on board with this woe's me, we lost Cordero Patterson. You saw it yesterday become like, and I'm not a defender of Pace, but you're bringing me on today. And I'm defending both Nagy and Pace today, only in the fact that I thought it was the right move. You don't need $3 million for a kick returner. Get Cohen back there or put somebody else back there that's going to attack it and be aggressive and do the things that you want to do. Find the next Cordero Patterson. This is a deep, deep, deep wide receiver class. And you find somebody. Again, I value more punt returners than I do kickoff returners in this day and age in the NFL. And I felt like $3 million where I think you're looking at a cap situation right here now that they're look at it this way, Shawn. Would you rather have Akeem Hicks or Cordero Patterson? That's really what they're doing. So I'm like, you get the position on players. And I saw the writer saying, well, Angelo Blackson, this one, they signed them. They could have kept this one. Well, Angelo Blackson is somebody I broke down on film that I'm very excited about. So give me a guy that's going to be in third downs or those run down situations, however they're going to use him, more so than a Cordero Patterson that's going to be on the field one play, doesn't punt return, doesn't want to play receiver apparently, and is inconsistent in those areas. And then you add the Matt Nagy-isms where he wants to get creative with them and almost makes entire game plans around a special teams guy. It almost, maybe it's Ryan Pace saying, I know how disorganized Matt gets, or delusional, we should say, with Cordero Patterson. Just let him go. So I'm okay 100% with that, especially as you're moving towards the draft.
What about a running back? You know, we have one of the best in the game in David Montgomery. You got Tariq Cohen come back. He's going to be a change of pace back. But what about where would you think about drafting a running back later in the draft to complement David Montgomery? Take some carries off him, lighten his load just a tad. And if so, who are you liking at the running back spot?
Well, they signed Damian Williams, so I think they're kind of set at running back. You got Ryan Nall in there. How they're going to use him is going to be interesting. And Artavius Pierce. Mm-hmm. Again, they hired the Oregon State running backs coach who's worked with Pierce. So it's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic of that backfield, how they use, like, as a running back coach, as you know, you got to fight for your guy or the guys. You got to tell the head coach, no, this is a rhythm back. So in regards to the draft, I'm always about bringing a guy in, but I think late round guys, kid from Georgia Southern, guys that are going to be later in the draft that show high instincts, hands, that kind of versatility. You find a speedster that maybe didn't get enough opportunities out there, or was in a backfield that was deep. But this isn't a position. In fact, I would rather you take an inside backer than you take a running back in this draft. I think you could sign one as an undrafted and bring them into camp that your scouts have really found. That's where I'm at with that position. I'm not looking for a running back. You got the elite back there. Let's not confuse this coach. Let's keep him almost like in a, remember you go to the go-karts. I want Matt Nagy on the track that's on a track that he can't try. Just keep David Montgomery going and rolling. Obviously use Tariq Cohen, like you said, situationally. Put those two in the backfield at the same time. We had the footwork king on. Matt Nagy, I count one play, maybe two, in the last 2 years where you put David Montgomery outside split and force a linebacker to try to cover him. They can't. He's that good and in space and his hands. So this guy's got enough problems. Doesn't even care about the run. Hopefully Bill Lazor, hopefully they did do what they said, Shawn, self-scouted, and they see the errors of their ways, and that David Montgomery's your identity. It's clear to me.
I that whole self-scouting thing, I have a small sliver of hope that they did, because they never used Montgomery before, so they never really figured him to be what he is. And I think once he saw what he could be and then what he was, they're like, oh, maybe we got something here. Yeah. And hopefully that's what Matt Nagy does. Because the other self-scouting sucked since the 12-8 season. Once that, because
exactly.
when you self-scout, guess what? Everybody else is scouting you too. So they're saying, here's how, and that's why he finished 8-8 the last 2 seasons. Okay, because everyone else scouted you and figured you out. Okay, no one figured out Montgomery. All right, and they still did, and and you know as well as I do how much that run game helps the passing game. Okay, how it slows down defensive linemen, and I don't know if again for me. That's the whole problem and why he's still there. Because if you give me a head coach who, or if he decides to be a CEO and say, Lazor, you run it, okay, I'd have a lot more confidence going into the season. But now the fact that he said, I'm going to call on plays again, and barely someone made a comment, and, people have made comments about, well, it was against crappy teams. I'm like, okay, you're like, well, first of all, you're only saying crappy teams because this is what everyone else is saying. Second of all, they get paid. They're professionals as well. Third of all, when it's toward the end of the year, Nagy started getting hold of the play calling again. Okay, so in that Packer game, that was Nagy. In the playoff game, that was Nagy, and you can tell because the ball wasn't being run. And if the ball was being run, I think there's a chance that these games there could be a big difference, a different outcome in those games. For me,
I'm with you.
It's just frustrating, dude. It's really frustrating. And you listen to people who, you and I both know when you listen to people who don't know what the hell they're talking about, and they go with the flow because such and such said it or such and such said it. And a lot of times, even such and such has not broken down the film. And when you break down film, do you know how to break down film? Just because you break down film doesn't mean you know how to break down film. You may watch film, but can you break it down? And so a lot of these guys, you have to wonder, what they're looking at and, what kind of football experience and things you've had, but and Shawn, a success rate.
Shawn, he wasn't here to run the I formation, Shawn. That's the whole problem.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's the whole problem.
Any coach that's deterrent on something that's working and is so against it has an ego issue. And when you allow your ego to get in the way of what is actually helping your team, that was the cherry on top from what I was already, just destroying this coach for. This guy, I will say it. I was the voice of saying it, calling out Nagy, and I continue to be that. I don't care. I put my name to it. You can go over to my YouTube channel, The Tape Never Lies, on YouTube. Watch my breakdowns because I know what I'm looking at on tape, and I'm trying to show other people, and yet still the PFFs are referenced and the nerd blog boys are referenced in regards to accepting below mediocrity when it comes to offensive line play. And when you know offensive line play and you see missed assignments and lackadaisical effort through the whistle when you're trying to establish an inside or outside zone or trapping, any kind of offensive philosophy that the Bears were doing. They were hamstrung because their left tackle and sometimes their right tackle weren't physical, and they were soft as puppy shit. They don't know their assignments, and they don't finish to the whistle, and that happened inside with the rotation of players and centers and movement until they got the young kid Sam Mustipher in there.
Bars.
In bars, you saw instill. They were young bucks making mistakes, which is to be expected, but you saw at least an
aggressiveness.
Attitude. Yeah,
yes.
aggressiveness. And David Montgomery, through it all, didn't matter who was in front of him, was making big time runs. Even if there was a 6 or 4 yard run, the obstacles, hurdles, manipulation in the backfield that he had to deal with, when you know how to watch the tape, you can identify just how elite that football player is. And he's completely overlooked in the NFL circles because of that offensive line and because of fucking fantasy football and because of guys like Matt Miller out there defining people's Madden ratings and speed. This is a guy that led the NFL with a shitty offense, with a terrible offensive coordinator, a terrible guru offensive coach in 50-plus yard runs. So don't give me that he can't run and he's not fast. This guy does it every down. I'll fight somebody at me, see me, whatever. David Montgomery is elite, and I've said it. Matt Forte, you could say it again. You could block me again, Matt. He is the best running back we've had since Walter Payton, and I would take him every day of the week and twice on Sunday, Shawn. That's David Montgomery.
Great stuff, buddy. Great stuff. So I love having you on. Do me a favor, let everyone know where I can find you and your work online.
You can find me on Instagram at Phil_Toshin right there. Look at that. And you can go to our YouTube. Subscribe, guys. I don't know what you're doing. Just subscribe and like to our YouTube page. The Tape Never Lies. Just pump that in there. You'll see it. Breakdowns, analysis, and then you could become a patron member right here. And that's more in-depth analysis and breakdowns of the Bears, as well as free agency and the NFL draft. We go into the film study, as Shawn could tell you, using all 22, breaking it down live. So tomorrow, my father and I on X's with O's will break down 3 offensive tackles. And then on Sunday, we're going to break down some quarterbacks and Ellinger, some later guys, Ellinger and Trask. We're going to look at the kid from Florida. Yep. We're going to look at them because obviously these are the 2 big needs I look at for the Chicago Bears, obviously offensive tackle and quarterback. So at me, like me, whatever it is, but we will get into it. And I have nothing but love and respect for you guys over here at Shawn and Maya and my boy Shawn. The 2-back set got me fired up today. I hope Kenneth is going to be ready for my heat on Monday.
Hey, great stuff, man. We'll talk soon, brother. Thanks.
Love you.
Have a
great stuff.
Great weekend, man. You and the boys.
You as well, man. God
All
bless.
Right. Bye now. Guys, that was Draft Dr. Phil Toshin. Great stuff.